Hello, and welcome back to the Utah Tech Leads Leadership Series. Today, we are joined by Kimberly Wittman. Hi, Kim. How are you doing today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. So tell us a little bit about yourself and the company that you work for that everybody will recognize their name.
Yeah, so I work for Vivint, and I've been with the organization for about 9 years. And a year ago, I took over as the head of people and culture and lead an organization that has about 12,000 employees.
That's a lot. So how did you get to this point? Like, have you always worked in kind of the tech sphere, or did you come from a different industry?
Yeah, like many people, I have actually a very different path to where I am today. I think oftentimes, when you're younger, you think, oh, it's going to be so easy just to kind of go in this straight line. So I actually went to Utah State, studied political science, had aspirations of becoming a lawyer, and very quickly realized that probably wasn't my path, and ended up spending 12 years in retail management and got pretty burnt out from that space and made a crazy leap, took about a 65% pay cut and went into technical recruiting. And that's
Wow.
how I found my way to Vivint and was with a company called Tech Systems for 2 years. And Vivint was one of my customers. And they recruited me to join the company and help develop their college recruiting program in 2013. And 6 roles later, I lead the organization today.
That's fantastic. So you have like a really big background in community engagement and community involvement. Tell
Yeah.
us a little bit about that kind of experience and why you felt like it's so important.
Yeah. I have really got to do a lot more of that since joining Vivint, but that's always been a part of kind of my career journey. Here at Vivint, I've had particular focus within tech. And so I was the HR partner for our technical group. So we have a product group that actually designs and develops and all of our product. And then we have our internal systems teams, our IT kind of function. And I've been their HR partner for a long time. So I actually got to develop a lot of our community outreach programs for STEM activation, including partnerships with Women Tech Council and Coding with Kids and internal programs that we did here. So it's definitely been a big part of, creating a great place to work is not just about the work you do here. Vivint Gives Back is another part of our community outreach. We have an amazing nonprofit organization within Vivint called Vivint Gives Back, and we donate millions and millions of dollars a year from an employee basis, and the company matches that, which we're able to invest back into communities both internationally and here in the US, and we focus across a variety of different types of activities.
So that's really clearly important to the company, that kind of engagement and the giving back and staying engaged and supporting your employees. So does that kind of feed into your personal leadership style as well? Or like how would you kind of identify yourself in that role?
Yeah, one of my core values is service. And I really do believe that when we're serving other people, we can't help but be more engaged and happier as individuals, which then, and you end up showing up as a better leader because of that. When you can develop empathy and be able to be in service of other people, you generally get more back than you expect to.
So what do you consider to be your biggest accomplishments? They can be personal or professional. It does not matter.
Yeah. I think professionally, my biggest accomplishment is just building an awesome team around me. And I've got to bring a lot of people on this journey with me here at Vivint. So over my 9 years at the organization, I've not only been able to kind of develop and coach and mentor individuals here in the organization, but promote them and kind of watch them grow in the time that I've been here as well, growing alongside of them. And that's actually been one of the most rewarding things to me is just creating an environment where people can grow.
It's been really interesting as I've been doing these interviews, like that kind of networking. We say networking and everybody thinks like big open space and awkward conversations and maybe somebody's carrying a cup around with a snack or something. But realistically, in the Utah tech scene, your network becomes incredibly vital and incredibly important to not only your success, but like your mental health. Like, how have you seen that kind of play out, not just at Vivint, but in the community as a whole?
Yeah, actually, some of my dearest friends are people that I've met through recruiting events or met in different community events that I've just connected with. And when you have similar sense of purpose, then you usually have similar sense of values. And that's how I, determine the people that I want to develop external friendships with as well. And so it's been an awesome way for me to meet people who are like-minded. And I've really enjoyed those relationships, and actually it comes in handy when you have people that you can also be friends with. So when things are stressful, or you are, during COVID, that was actually a great example of being able just to have these folks in the community that I had relationships with that I could reach out to and, talk through something no one had ever been through before. So we were all learning at the same time and trying to figure out something that was totally unknown to all of us.
Yeah, how we all work in a very, very strange time. It was really interesting to see the flexibility throughout the community. So that actually brings up a really, really good point, especially as we're still coming out of the pandemic realistically. How have you been able to kind of stay on top of trends and all of the work that you have to do through the course of like that more creative space and understanding and suggesting things and working with teams? How do you stay up to date on all of the things that you need to do?
Yeah. Well, personally, I have a love of learning. So I really do spend a lot of time, trying to get information from experts within different areas, particularly in, kind of org design, human connection. And there is no shortage of podcasts or books or things of that nature. So that's one way that I like to get information on my own. But more importantly, I have a whole team of people who have experience and preferences, and they're also doing some of that same work to just understand kind of what's happening in the community. But we really spend a lot of time with our employees to talk about what was important to them. So we did a lot of surveys and prioritization of those surveys to say, these are clearly the things that people are most interested in and have gained both upside from work from home, and that have opportunity they want to really continue, or things that are not working for them and what they're losing in this type of environment. So that real-time feedback helped us learn very quickly and apply that to our specific environment.
Absolutely. So a self-serving question a bit. So why did you decide to support UTL?
I actually think the work you guys are doing is super, super important, because oftentimes in the day-to-day of running the business, we forget what's happening in our legislature, or we're just not paying good enough attention to it. This has happened to me a few times in this last legislative session, where something would come up and I would be able to reach out to you guys, and you were always in the know of what was happening, not just what the overarching bill was or what it was intended to do, but who was, driving it, what needed to be done, what we could do to advocate for the company. And that was so helpful to me, and just being able to have a source that was the subject matter expert in it, because that's not something that I could do and still run my day-to-day business.
Absolutely. So last question, if you could talk to a little itty bitty baby you, what advice would you give them?
The advice, I get this question actually quite a bit. And I think most important is just believe in yourself and have courage. Courage is like one of the easiest things to talk about and one of the hardest things to do in real time, and to really, apply to your life. And you have to go through a lot of hard things to build the resiliency that comes with demonstrating courage. But if I were to talk to myself, like, just believe in yourself and be courageous in the things that you do.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate your time and your leadership in the community.
Oh, thank you so much.